All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm here with my guy Izzy, man. We've been absolutely smashing these fitness goals over the last couple of months, and I really wanted to help him tap in and really help anybody that is just looking for some clarity inside of their fitness journey. Right, we got a really unique but dope case here, but as well as give everybody some insight on the level of value that this program can be for you, man. And so, Izzy, what's going on, bro? How you feeling today, man?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. So it's been a journey, man. It's been a journey. We've been working together for a while, and I definitely love to see just the growth that just the success that you had, as well as just the growth that you've had in yourself. You know, I want to kind of jump right into it, man. We've been smashing these goals the last couple of months. What was the goal that you had for yourself? That kind of finishing this 2021 off, just working with me and us here inside of the Grindtribe.
Yeah, I think just towards the, after COVID and everything, towards the beginning of the year, I was kind of in a bad place mentally and physically. I had just like kind of let myself go a little bit more. I wasn't as consistent as I wanted to be. And then there were some personal goals that I definitely needed to hit for my personal life, for my family. For example, the house is one of the biggest ones that I had. And I really understood that I need to put myself in pretty much overdrive to be able to, hit my personal goals on a consistent level. And that meant that I need to, be mentally prepared, but also physically prepared as well. And I wanted to kind of reposition myself throughout this year, so I can set myself up and create that momentum going into the future. So I think the biggest goal that I had was this house, but also cutting down and understanding and finding a balance between what works for me nutritionally. So obviously working with you, I had access to so many great programs in terms of workouts and going to the gym. So the first thing was making sure I'm actually consistently going to the gym, and obviously having the Grindtribe to motivate me every single, like I was mentioning to you earlier, going on Telegram and seeing people just post, daily every morning that they're in the gym. And that was just like an extra booster to make sure that I was being consistent on my end as well. The checkups that you were doing to make sure that I was, consistently showing up at the gym as well. The weekly reports of, my progress, pictures and stats, all of those definitely helped me stay consistent. But also the tracker that you created for nutrition helped me kind of get an understanding of, obviously I live with my parents right now. So having access to traditional foods isn't always the most healthy approach. So having, those conversations with you and understanding, okay, like, yeah, I have access to these traditional foods that I'm consuming all the time. How can we change these up and add more value to my personal goals? So one thing that worked for me was, just making sure I'm eating a lot of protein, and finding out which traditional foods are better for my health, which I discussed with you, and then eating them on a consistent manner. And that's what ultimately kind of, like you mentioned, is like creating a holistic program around my life. Obviously, throughout the year, I also was working at EY, which is a very demanding, just the industry itself is very demanding. So I was working a lot. So having that holistic approach definitely was a huge benefit to me because, making sure I'm disciplined, as well as understanding what nutrition that I need to consume.
Yeah.
Along with that would work with my work schedule was a huge hit my goal.
100%, 100%. And you talked about a lot of different things, and I want to highlight this, right? Because a lot of guys think that it's just, hey, I just need the right plan. I just need, I just need a workout plan. I just need to know what to eat. But you touched on something in the beginning of what you were talking about, which was like, obviously you were going through some things like mentally and emotionally. And obviously you also had some very high level goals, especially some very purpose driven goals, with just you and your family and what you wanted to do just as a man, right? And a lot of guys will get they don't realize that the thing that actually stops them from following that perfect nutrition plan or that perfect training plan is, the things that will get in the way, which is life, which is sometimes our mental health, which is sometimes some demanding goals that we have inside of our personal life or our professional life. We kind of take a very holistic approach. And I really want you to speak to, right? Everybody knows, inside this program, you're going to get the right training, you're going to get the right nutrition, but I want to highlight some of the things that really helped us make some breakthroughs here. And my question to you is, where do you feel on a holistic side of things that you got just a great level of clarity and a great level of momentum when you were trying to balance going through these things while working through your career, as well as keeping, you know what I'm saying, your consistency intact in order to hit these goals with your body?
Yeah, and I think this is something that we discussed during the calls, just the group calls and individual calls over time as well. And it's that the external world will always be there. And like you just mentioned a few seconds ago, things will always get in the way. So I think before, at the beginning of the year, I was just so bogged down with like, oh man, my work schedule is so tough. I'm in Long Island. I don't really want to be in Long Island, and all those different things were affecting me. And I was like, well, like you said, the external world is always going to be there. Things are always going to get in the way, but understanding that I have full control of, what I do with my day, and hitting and making sure I plan out accordingly. So obviously you would plan out the training programs, but I would have to then understand, okay, like these training programs are set, I need to make sure that I see myself at the gym. So whether it is, I'm going to have a late day today at work. So I would wake up early in the morning and make sure I hit the gym then. Whether it is that, I have to wake up super early, I would make sure that I'm hitting the gym in the evening. So really understanding that the external world is always going to be changing. And obviously with the house too, there were just these constant calls that I would have that would stress me out. But using the gym as kind of a meditation zone for me, and changing the perspective that I had of the gym. And instead of seeing going to the gym and work exercise as a task, I would see it as kind of like a healing process for me. So throughout the day, I would, if I was really stressed out, I would force myself to look forward to going to the gym. And it wasn't just going to the gym, it was also understanding how I needed to implement meditation. So, making sure I'm at least doing 5 minutes of meditation every single day, whether it's after the gym, sitting in the car, whatever it is. But yeah, understanding the external world is always just going to be ever so changing and affecting me in different ways, and changing my perspective from before, how I used to see the gym as a task, versus now seeing it as kind of like a position of healing and making myself better.
100%. Man, you touched on something so solid there, bro. Because the thing I love about this interview, bro, is it was interesting because I remember back, you're a long-term client of mine, right? So I remember back, months and months back, right? It was kind of like we would consistently have these things where it's like, hey, bro, work is going to get kind of busy. And so it would always kind of be like you were doing good when work wasn't busy, right? And I think that's something really important to touch on, because a lot of guys, we get caught up in this, right? You had to learn that, listen, like if sometimes it might be work that's busy, sometimes it might be life that's busy, it might be family, it might be mentally shit that's busy. Nothing is ever going to be the ideal position for God to be like, hey, man, I just carved out 20 hours a week for you to go to the gym seamlessly, right? And I remember seeing the shift and kind of this mindset that you were battling through of like, I'm going to be able to put in more work when work is not as busy, right? And it would lead to like the up and down kind of cycles to then, later on, like coming towards these last couple of months, I'm like, shit, you've been telling me that work is getting busy, you got all these things going on, but it's like, I'm seeing you smash more of these workouts, show up to the calls, hit these macros. I'm like, something's changing with Izzy here. I think we kind of hit this mark where you realize that it's like, yo, as long as I continue to think, oh man, I'll do a couple of weeks straight when I don't have anything going on, or when work slows down, or when my family does this, or when we finally get the house, or when we as long as you live in that milestone mentality, your goals will always just simply be driven by what's going on externally around you, which means you'll never be able to control them. And I'm so happy to kind of like see this manifest with you, bro, because you finally took back power over that shit, where it was like you were literally working, right? And on top of that, like you were like literally about to buy a house for your family. Like you were grinding it out, bro. But at the same time, you were getting more and more consistent with the gym. And so it was really it wasn't a time thing. It was a mindset thing. You know what I'm saying? And I think that for so many guys, that's the big click moment where this actually becomes a lifestyle, right? As long as you're still going to the gym, eating healthy, as long as you're still putting that at the mercy of the external world, you will never be consistent, because it's life. You know what I mean? It's life. You don't get to tell, you don't get to say what life is going to throw you, what type of bone life is going to throw you. And so it's all about having that level of adaptiveness, and that ability to just be flexible, as well as find the real relationship with the gym, right?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned, you know, me going from the mindset of looking at going to the gym as like another to-do list, another thing on my another job or another task, versus like, nah, this is me time, this is therapy time, right?
Yeah.
And once you actually start to get in the gym, you get comfortable, right? That's what it turns into. And that's how it turns into a lifestyle, because it becomes complementary to everything that you do got going on. So now it's like, yo, when I am more busy, when it's busy season, I need to go to the gym more, because I need to get that solid mental foundation in the beginning of the day.
Yes, definitely agree.
100%. And you know, touching back on the nutrition aspect, right? You know, we follow a very flexible protocol, right? And I want you to speak to, like, what were some of the sort of the click moments, or the solid realizations that you had to help you get your nutrition more on track? Because we spoke about the cultural foods and trying to find that balance, right? You know, we have similar cultural foods, with me being Guyanese, and so I was able to give you a little bit more context, because I understand what it is, right? I understand what our foods have in them, you know, from the high salt, some of the high processed oils that we cook with and stuff like that. What do you think was the mindset sort of turning point for you when it came to nutrition?
Yeah, I think it's very similar to how I had that mind shift for the gym as well. So taking it from looking at it as a task versus therapy, right? Something that I truly enjoy and helps me grow. So I think before, when it came to my nutrition, there's this idea that you have to have like a really strict kind of meal plan with these macros. You have to have every single detail. And obviously with my work schedule, I couldn't find the time to go out there and be as detailed as I wanted to be. And that kind of like made me dislike that nutrition process a bit more. So I started creating personally that internal mind shift that, okay, I need to, and working with you, I need to create that shift to it being a task, to nutrition being something that I actually like. So, you know, finding foods that I actually enjoy eating, that are actually going to help me get towards my goal too. And I think one of the biggest things was like having that conversation. I know we had that conversation before about dal, where like, you know, lentils, where, you know, it's a very nutritional food, and I was consuming it quite frequently, and I kind of changed my diet based around that, because I actually liked eating it compared to just, you know, downing vegetables all the time. And I tried so many different things too. I would get like the vegetable powder, because I was still thinking of it as like a task, right? I was like, my nutrition is a task. I have to down this because it tastes so bad, but I just need to get it done. Instead, I started to make that similar shift where it's okay, I actually enjoy eating this food. So I'm gonna work with you to see, okay, hey, is this actually gonna add value to my towards my goals? If that hit the checklist, then I would continue eating it and finding similar foods to that. So it was a very similar mind shift.
No, real talk, real talk. Nah, man, it's been a hell of a journey, bro. You're killing it, man. Where we at? You know, I know that when we started, we were definitely above 20% body fat. I think we were around like maybe 24 to 25%. Just me ballparking and looking at your progress photos. Where are we at body fat percentage now?
Right now at like the 16% range, at 180, 181 pounds. So I definitely want to lower that. And as we discussed before, I'm definitely focusing more on strength training now, as I have like a month-long break while switching firms. But yeah, man, I personally like, and one thing I want to add on, like at the beginning of when we actually started doing, you know, working with you, I was even having trouble tying my shoelaces. That's how bad it got, right? I would have trouble breathing because I would go down to tie my shoelace and I couldn't. And so definitely made a long progress. But one thing that kind of stands out for me personally was that there's this saying that say you're the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. So having that community to have access to see people grow along with me would also kind of drive me to grow as well. And seeing my weekly progress when I was actually very, very consistent at the gym towards the beginning of the year, I would see those little changes here and there, and having those discussions, I would see, okay, like then when I would go to like a 7-Eleven or whatever, you know, I would look at junk food and I'd be like, is this worth it? Like I worked all this time at the gym. All my brothers are growing along with me. Am I really going to let myself and them down by downing this nasty food and putting it in my body, or skipping the gym, or whatever the case is. So having that community to tap into was just absolutely huge for me.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Listen, man, I appreciate you for tapping in, bro. So much growth, man. I love to see it, bro. We still got a long way to go, but it's definitely fruitful. It's been a hell of a journey, man. I think that a lot of people sometimes we get caught up in an end result. And that's okay to a certain extent because you want to be results driven. But man, look how much you've learned about yourself and just how much of a lifestyle you created in this time that we worked together, bro. So I'm looking forward to getting you to 10%. All right, over these next couple of months, we're going to be dialing in, man, getting you to 10%. And lastly, bro, you know, for anybody that's on the fence about what's happening with the Grindtribe, man, what would you tell them right now?
I think, like I said just a few minutes ago, it's the community, to understand, and not even if you're not around, to have so many other people who are like-minded individuals, who are growth-minded individuals, who are not just short-term people where like, I want to do this for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months, whatever. They're all in it for the long play, and to see them grow and grow along with them is so huge. And it's internally you're gonna see yourself change over time as you start tapping into the calls, as you start looking into the the group conversations that we're having. Internally, it kind of drives you to be better and do better and hit your goals and become that long-term mindset individual. So I think, yeah, if you are in the fence, definitely understanding that your community is everything. You are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. I know it's kind of a cliche saying, but to kind of see your brothers grow along with you, it's going to force you to just internally like, hey, I need to get this done. I want to get this done for me, because I don't want to let myself down, and I don't want to let my team down, whatever the case is. But the community is so huge. So that's what I would say. That's what personally has worked for me.
No doubt, no doubt. My brother, love to hear it, man. And I appreciate you for just consistently being a part of this growing community, man. Love your energy, bro. Love your growth. If anybody that's watching, we appreciate y'all for tapping in. You guys know what it is, man. This is the Grindtribe. We are cultivating this community. We're cultivating this mindset. We're cultivating these results for the brothers that are really willing to bet on themselves. This community is not just about getting to the result of building a muscle and losing fat and looking good. It's about the transformation that happens as a part of it. It's about stepping up in the level of leadership from yourself, right? Because you can't lead anybody else if you can't lead yourself. And so we're tapping in here, and you guys know how to tap in with us. So I appreciate you, family. We'll tap in soon.
Thank you.